to right field, way up there, and way out of here!
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening. Welcome back to another episode of the Phixated Podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzolina, and I'm joined by the guy who let me borrow his MLB.TV username and password because Canadian TV sucks. Regz, thank you so much, buddy.
A pleasure. I'm glad it worked. I'm glad I could help you out in the doldrum of Canada where you were.
I gotta tell you. So we're not going to get into the ins and outs of why I was there and how long I was there. Just know I was there. I was in Canada for 3 days this week. And I got there really late on Monday. I was starving. I hadn't eaten pretty much all day. The nice lady at the desk gave me snacks basically for free. She could just see it on my face. And I got upstairs to my room and I was like, I just need to sit down, watch TV and chill. And I turned on the TV and I was hopeful because it was like Jimmy Fallon Live, which is fine. So I do what I got to do the next day. I get back to the room and I'm like, I'm just going to turn on TV. Dude. So the best thing on TV was the show Frasier. You remember the show Frasier?
Of course.
So it's fine. The show's fine. One of the better spinoffs in television history, right? Frasier was a character on Cheers, had his own spinoff. Like the show Frasier, can absolutely watch an episode or two if nothing else is on TV. Very rare that I do. However, the problem with this version of Frasier was it was in French.
Yeah, it's gonna
make it difficult.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna eat my dinner and then I guess I'll just settle in and read. And I was like, oh wait, the Phillies play at 9:30.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll text Regz and see if I can steal that MLB TV stuff. So thank you for that because I did watch most of the game. I was exhausted, so I ended up falling asleep. It was a very boring game.
Yes, it was.
It was the 1-0. It was the 1-0 loss, game 2 of the Giants series. We'll talk about that road trip in a little bit, but it got me through that night. I woke up the next morning, I worked out, drove back to the airport and flew home. Listening to the game 3 of that series on my MLB app on the radio.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you, buddy.
Of course. I'm glad it worked. I'm happy it worked.
Yeah, it's cool.
I don't think I've ever had two people watching it at the same time. Or that's not true. I take that back. Maybe not on different Wi-Fis. I've never had somebody not in my house watching it at the same time. So I was a little nervous if it was going to work or if it was going to be like a weird Netflixy situation where if you're not on the same Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But again, you had access to every baseball game you could want.
Yeah. And I'll be honest with you, around the 4th or 5th inning, as it was super boring, I did flip around and watch a couple of other games. The Wi-Fi was a bit spotty in Canada. So it was, I was spinning a little bit here and there, but they
actually just added Phillies pre and post game. I can watch it now, which is awesome.
It just actually, I think that night was the night it started because I saw the end of post game live as I turned it on.
And the best part is I can get the after game interviews because a lot of the times it would cut out before those would start, and I'd have to go on Twitter and watch them.
Yeah.
But now I get the whole thing because they're not breaking. They're just going right into it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, there are some nights where I have a hard time watching the post-game show.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because of how negative Barkan and Batalico can be, for no reason.
Yeah.
Just picking and choosing random things. And if Ben's on there, I have a hard time watching it too, just in general. But the interviews are good, especially like the Kruk in the booth interview afterward.
Oh yeah.
Is always.
I mean,
very
that's really
good.
all I'm watching. I'm watching for the player interview after the game.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting until they get Crucky on there, and that's about it.
Well, I'll be honest. There are times where like I'll mute it until Topper comes on.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep. You're exactly right.
Tonight I watched until Topper was done. Then I came down to get ready to record with you. But a lot of times I'll watch for Topper just to hear what he has to say. Yeah. So, but I'm glad you get to watch it now because there are some, and yeah, of course you want to see those post game interviews just because of the daycare and doing their thing.
Yeah, and I just like listening to them. I feel like it's always fun when Kruk gets asked questions. Yeah. Tom's usually very good at it. Ruben, we love Ruben.
Yeah.
But sometimes he stumbles over himself a little bit, but look, he's fine.
Yeah. Well, Ruben loves to talk.
He does. That's fine.
It is.
But
yeah, we love him anyway.
It's just cool hearing the guys more and more. That's what you're looking for. You're just trying to hear the guys.
Yeah. So I'm glad you get that because now you'll be able to watch along with me when we put that on. But
and Ruben's doing a great job on that podcast with Zalecki and Salisbury.
Oh, it's such a good show.
It's really
good. Have you been listening? Listening a lot more to it?
I'm subscribed. I get them all.
Yeah. Yeah. The Burl one was fantastic. I've not listened to the full
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's my plan tomorrow. I have a lot of power washing to do.
It's like an hour too. It's great. It's really good.
I have a lot of power washing to do, so I will be listening.
How good was the little video they just did too?
Oh, with Rob McElhaney in it.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
so good.
First of all, can we hat tip Bryce?
Yeah,
for his acting.
Very good.
His acting was very good.
It was.
That was like the first thing Andrea said when I showed it to her. She was like, Bryce is good. I was like, I know. So believable.
Yeah. Very good timing.
I'm not asking you about the hitting. I'd ask Rollins about that anyway. So good.
Yeah.
So good. And of course the Chase and Rob dynamic as good as ever.
Yeah.
Who's he going to choose?
He's going to choose Utley probably.
I think he chooses Chase too. I think because the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Although if they're trying to make
it would be really funny if
I think maybe he's going to offer a 3-way. Just because of the context of which they were talking about it feels like he's going to offer a 3-way, and that's the way it's going to happen.
I love that the thing on his phone said Silver Fox.
Oh, I know. I love it.
So good.
Yeah. And then when he answered and he laid out the perfect, well, if it isn't the man.
Yeah, right.
Such a great video.
It was
great
really
job.
good. I love that Chase is like leaning into it. I love that he's like, again, not the biggest talker when he was playing.
Yeah.
But like he's really kind of embracing this, and it's really good because he's got that like just dry humor that it's in there. Like Chase Utley when he was just talking to his teammates was probably one of like the funniest guys in the room.
Yeah.
He just never let that show. He never let it come out of the locker room.
It's interesting because I love that he's like their representative for this whole London series.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't really been associated to the team.
Right.
He's been, out west with the Dodgers. I mean, I did hear the part of the podcast where like they talk about him being traded and how angry he was because he wanted to be a Philly basically forever. So it is cool that he's doing it. Even better that, he has that 1-2 organization rivalry with the Mets.
Yeah.
That he's the guy, but you're right. It is nice to see him lean into this, not just the video, but the whole product right now with the London series. That's next weekend, right?
Yeah. It's like 10 days away or something.
Yeah. I think it's next Saturday, Sunday. Because they play it like, I forget what time Saturday is, but Sunday's like 9 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's early. And I want to say Saturday's like early afternoon, like 2 or something like that. So I'm pumped, man. I'm excited for that to have like 9 a.m. baseball.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Might go get like a brunch or something.
There you go. See, I'm just gonna be like recovering from The day of baseball the day before.
Love it. I love it. I'm excited, man.
It's going to be great.
Regz, they could have like 47 wins by next week.
That's crazy.
Like the way, I mean, I think the Brewers series is going to be tough. Look, we're going to get into the bit. We got a little bit of Eagles stuff we want to talk about. And we've got the Phillies that we're going to get into with the road trip, what they got coming up. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Edmundo Sosa, the rotation, and our game update. We have finished month number 2. We're heading into month number 3 tomorrow. I'm a little bit concerned because Kyle Schwarber could single-handedly win the month of June for Regz. So this could get very scary for Azzy real quickly. What we want to do with the Eagles tonight is, as we look at OTAs and training camp, because they're here.
Yeah.
They're here. We're going to talk about just players, and we're going to kind of go into categories. We're going to talk about players that we think make the biggest jump. So we're each going to pick a player that we believe will make the biggest jump from last year to this year. We're going to talk about the player that we think has to make the necessary jump for the team to be successful. So maybe they're not going to be the player that makes it, but they have to make it, right? For the team to be a success. We're going to talk about a player that we think hits a decline this year, who falls off a bit, and a player to watch. And this could be anybody. The first 3 have to be guys who have been in the league. The guy to watch could be a player who's a rookie right now. We did not make a rookie category for this because figured why not? Why do that? It's probably unfair to put those rookies in that situation. So this is the 4 categories that we're doing. So I'll throw the first one out there, and Regz will give his answer. I'll give my answer. We'll talk a little about our reasoning, and then we'll move right through. So Regz, we'll start with the player who we think makes the biggest jump this year for the Eagles. Who is going to be the guy not this year, I'm sorry, this like off season during camp and into the year that we're going to hear the most about, and the jump that they're going to make?
So this one's,
if you want to answer in terms of season, that's fine. I think
this is an interesting one, because it's like, do you want to start with someone maybe who was a lot lower and anticipate them to make a really big jump, or are you starting like maybe a little higher with someone, but you're still expecting them to get that much better? So that was like my kind of back and forth, and I wasn't sure which way to go, but I'm going to go with Jalen Carter. I know the expectations are as high as they can be for him, but in the history of like defensive tackles, it usually takes these guys 3 to 4 years to hit like their peak. Like it just takes them a little bit longer than edges or wide receivers or other players at different positions. So I just think his jump, I just think he has the talent to like make that leap 2 years before we think he might.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of put it in this category, because it's position based a little bit. It's just, we already know, like we saw what he could do through, when he was really going in a few games. And I even think in those games, like even when he would beat people, he wasn't quite maybe getting the quarterback down. He maybe he still had little things to figure out. And for whatever reason, I just feel like he's clicking with Fangio, and like it's just gonna work out, and that dude's gonna take a leap that we don't see at a lot of guys at his position. In year 2,
Yeah, no, I understand. I thought about him, and I went a different route, almost for the same reason. Well, one of the same reasons, and I'm going with Devin White.
I like it.
And the reason I'm going with Devin White is because we all know that his athleticism, his instincts, not his instincts are a part of his big problem, but his athleticism, his playmaking is off the charts. Like we know that about him. His issue has been he plays off script.
Yes.
He plays on instinct, and it usually gets him in trouble. The big piece to this puzzle for me is Vic Fangio. All we have heard in press conferences so far from these players defensively are that Vic is old school and he's prepared. And if he can get Devin White locked in, then he is going to unlock some real playmaking potential in this linebacker. And I do believe that a guy who was, I mean, almost a Super Bowl MVP, was one of the best players on a really talented Tampa Bay defense the year they won the Super Bowl. Got a 1-year deal for almost nothing.
Yeah.
In a prove it type of defense, right? He's got to prove it. I think he's going to take the biggest jump this year throughout camp. And then I think he's going to open eyes in camp. And then I think we're going to see him flourish during the regular season. Devin White is my guy.
I like it.
So let's split it up a little bit. We're not going to do the most necessary jump. We're going to do the decline. Who's the player that you anticipate declining the most through the summer and into the regular season? I think I have a guess of who yours is going to be.
Interesting. I don't feel good. This is one of those ones where like I don't feel good about saying anybody.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. And again, I think I'm kind of going contradictory to what I believe a lot of people think about this guy. I just have a sinking feeling in my stomach about Slay. That it's like he's going to get hurt and it's just not going to be a good season for him. He's just like,
that's what you were going to say.
I take no pleasure in this. I really don't. I don't like, he was hurt last year. He's admitted it. The knee was really a thing. And he said he's come back and he's feeling great. And look, I hope that he plays as well as he can. It's just this over 30 cornerback thing is like playing Russian roulette. You just have no idea.
Yeah.
And it comes in an instant. Like it's not a steady decline. And like Shio Kapati has talked about this a bunch on like the Philly special for the Ringer. He's just like, guys, you don't know how improbable it is for over 30 cornerbacks to play well. Like it's just not a thing that happens in the NFL. And he's gone through years and years of history on this. Like this is not just anecdotal. He's done the research to give these points. And I just like, again, I don't want this to happen because I want him to go out like playing well and in his own way. I just fear that it's coming.
So I knew that's what you were going to say. I just had this feeling that because you've talked about your fear of over 30 quarterbacks or corners on our show. It's not, that's not a secret within your stance. So I kind of figured that was going to be your guy. That being said, tomorrow is June 1st, which means we probably have about 48 hours left with James Bradbury on the roster. So it's been good, James. We'll do
thanks, James.
We'll do a hat tip to you later. Mine will actually surprise you because I'm always very high on him, but I'm having a hard time because every year I'm high on him, and every year he's hurt, misses time, doesn't do what I anticipate he's going to do. You're probably thinking Quez Watkins isn't on the team anymore. You're right. Dallas Goedert.
That's exactly who I thought when you were just talking.
I'm shocked that they didn't take a tight end in this draft. I talked vividly about that being a place where I thought they would go during our pre-draft shows. I talked a lot about it actually.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not go that route. He's 28, kind of like you were talking about with corner. This is an age where tight ends sort of fall off. In addition to that, there's not enough football to go around. Kellen Moore is very dedicated to slot wide receivers. He's dedicated to the running back in the passing game, and they've got a darn good one now. So I do believe that this is a big fallout year for Dallas Goedert. And I hate that because I love him, but I think this is going to be a tough year for him. So he's my decline guy.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the necessary jump. The guy that needs to take the jump for them to be successful this year. And again, you talked about it earlier. I think it's a really prominent thing to talk about. Like the jump could be anything. It could be from great player to superstar, right? Like you could look at Devontae Smith and say he needs to become superstar, like that next level for them to get there. You could say that, about a guy who is just below average to become good makes a difference, right? Yeah. So who's your guy that you think has to make the necessary jump for them to be the Super Bowl contenders?
This one I took a lot of different ways, and there were a lot of people I was thinking about saying. I think when it comes down to it, I need it to be CJGJ.
Ooh, good one.
I need him to buy into this Fangio thing. I need him to not butt heads with his coach. I need him to be that guy who can be anywhere on the field and nobody knows what he's going to do. And I need him to play that ball hawk, like get into everything kind of player we saw 2 years ago. I really think the safety play is going to make a huge deal with this defense. Like, say what you will about the corners. You have somebody who's over 30 years old, and you have other guys who are rookies. And you have a guy in your slot corner that hasn't played a lot of football in the past couple of years from being very hurt. So, like, you're relying on an over 30-year-old cornerback staying healthy and playing well. You're relying on two rookies who I have faith in, let me preface, who I have faith in their ability to come in and play well, but they're still rookies. And they're still going to have times where the NFL looks like a pretty big deal to them. It's just going to happen. I have all the faith in the world that these guys are going to be good NFL players, but it's just going to happen. I think Gardner Johnson, with his years in the NFL, with his versatility, and with Vic's type of defense where he lines guys up in one way and then they are doing something completely different, like the safeties are going to be a big deal. And because he possesses the skill set that our other safeties don't have. Reed and Sidney Brown are guys who are going to just run as fast as they can and make tackles. They can't cover people. They can do it every once in a while, but that's not their skill set, right? That's not what they're best at. So I just think he's going to be a really, really big deal. And I really want him to like make the jump and give us his best season.
I would love nothing more, if I'm being honest with you, than for him to give us that best season.
I think it turns the whole defense around. Like I honestly think it's that important.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm between two guys here and I'm struggling. Because I think one is really important to the defensive side of the football. The other is really important to the offensive
Notice
side.
I didn't pick one offensive player.
Yeah. Well, this one, I am gonna go back to the offense here because you did it. So I'll tell you, my defensive player was Jordan Davis.
Yeah, another one that I had on my mind as well.
And it's good to see. I mean, he looks tremendous. If he's down to 350, I wonder what he was last year.
I mean, 370.
You think?
365.
Like yeah, he was massive though. I mean, he looks thinner, more built. I should.
Well,
say.
I think it's like a lot of people said, he's just holding it better. Like it looks like it's the right kind of weight, not just weight for weight's sake.
Yeah, it's muscle now.
Right. He's learning how to put on the right kind of weight.
Yeah. Okay. So that then gives you, I'm going offense. It's got to be for me, Tyler Steen. And I'm not saying Cam Jurgens because Cam Jurgens is going to play his natural position, and I think he was out of position last year, and Steen was out of position last year. But he sounds a lot more confident this year. At the end of the day, for the offense to be effective, without Jason Kelce, this guy's he's got to be good.
Yeah.
Like Lane Johnson has always had good guards on his left.
Mm-hmm.
Like last year, I mean, Cam Jurgens was fine playing that position. He wasn't great, but he was fine.
Yeah.
But think about who he had there. Isaac Seumalo was there. And before that, it was Brandon Brooks, who was one of the best guards we've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Tyler Steen is a very necessary jump for this team to be successful. Because if they have a hole on the right side of that,
yeah, it's a huge
it's going to become a major problem. Because they want to run the ball.
Yeah.
And they want to keep Jalen protected. And it cannot be a turnstile between Cam Jurgens and Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah.
So I decided on Tyler instead of Jordan, although I think Jordan's probably is important.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great one. Like you could, like, to be quite honest, you could say Jalen Hurts.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You could say a lot of people here.
You could say Devontae Smith.
Yeah, exactly.
You could say Saquon Barkley.
Right.
Like you need Saquon Barkley to become the guy that he just never could be in New York.
Yeah.
The answer could be anyone.
It all really does start with that offensive line because we've seen Jalen's tendencies when the line isn't good.
Yeah.
And it ruins everything. Like it just ruins everything.
Yeah. And I did read something about Jalen the other day that made me laugh. I'll see if I can find it while you're answering the last one, which is the guy to watch. A guy that, you know, as you go into camp, someone who could make the team, someone that's obviously already going to be on about, or maybe it's a guy we know about, but, you know, could be a guy to keep your eye on as a breakout candidate. Who do you think?
I mean, I'm going super chalk here. It's Quinyon Mitchell.
Okay. I like it.
I like it. I just think that guy is going to be ready to go. And I think he's going to earn his spot as the second corner.
That's a good one.
And I just think he's going to absolutely prove it flat out. Like without a doubt, you won't be able to be like, oh no, maybe this guy should try it. Or like, you know, he's a rookie. Why would you do that? It's like, nope, this is Q's spot and he's going to take it and he's going to play well.
Yeah. And you know, this is not my answer. I just wanted to point out, it's been interesting because we've seen, today, especially, or yesterday, I should say, Isaiah Rodgers is a nice little start to
cool.
OTAs.
I just think great. You can slide over there when Slay doesn't play well or gets hurt.
Gets hurt. There it is.
Again, I wish Slay nothing but the best. I really do.
I know. We're Slay guys.
I think I'm ready for Q to just be the man.
Yeah, me too. I'm right there with you. All right, my guy is someone who's actually not on the roster right now. But received an invite to try out, and I loved his press conference the other day. I actually retweeted it. I retweeted it saying, we have a guy to pull for during camp.
Yeah.
I thought everything he said in that press conference is exactly what I want on an NFL roster. And heck, man, they need the speed. They need it so badly. So John Ross is my guy to keep an eye on. This was a former first-round pick who just didn't play in any good situations. At any point in his NFL career, not been in a good situation. So if he can come and show out with his 4.22 speed, who knows?
Right.
Who knows? I mean, you know, I almost went like with a rookie or similar, you know, to what you did. But then I saw this and I was like, you know what?
And look, if that guy is back there for kickoffs and stuff, and you're not, like, let's be honest, I don't need them to throw like Saquon Barkley on kickoffs. You know what I mean? I don't need Cooper DeJean back there. Like, I don't need these guys taking the hits that are, I get it, the hits are going to be less and things like that, but there's still hits that your best guys don't need to take.
Yeah.
Throw this guy back there who's just flying around.
I've been waiting for like the Quez Watkins type player to be
You've been dying for somebody
relevant.
like that.
I need the dude who can just blow the top.
Yep.
You know, Devontae can be that guy, but not necessarily is that, like, that's not what he's schemed to do.
Yeah.
And the same thing with AJ. He can do it, but he's not schemed to do it. You need the guy who can be on the field, so the other two are a nightmare.
Right.
Because you got to pay attention to the fact that 4-2-2 John Ross is out.
Right.
I so badly want that. And that's why I'm pulling for him, man. And everything he said about his son, like, I'm team John Ross. And if he makes the team, I will team John Ross a jersey for myself.
There you go.
Just for 1 year.
There you go.
One.
Why not?
I'll just make one. So that was a fun little exercise. Nothing that we're gonna, keep our eyes on or keep track of, but just something to kind of talk about. OTAs are here less than 70 days from kickoff. So it's already here.
It's
we're
wild.
already
it's crazy.
We're already doing this. And it's funny because every person that, like, as I'm scrolling social media and they're doing their teams to watch, Super Bowl predictions, all, like, no one's talking about the.
I think that's where we want to be.
Yeah, in the NFC, here are the teams that I continue to hear about. The 49ers, who I'm still bending over backwards, saying that they're going to have the biggest regression.
Mm-hmm.
They scream regression.
Mm-hmm.
That team screams it. They're always at the top of the Packers. That's fair. That's fair. I still lean to the air of, like, let's see him do it more than just half of a season.
Yeah.
The Lions also scream regression to me, but they're being talked about a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are the three teams that I see all over the place. So, just keep counting the birdie birds out.
No, I think that's exactly where we need to be.
Keep counting the birdie birds out, and let's see what happens come September. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. So, in the meantime, we do have a 40-game winning baseball team.
Is that all?
The month of May, 20-7 in May. 20-7 for those who didn't hear the first time.
How many games without their $300 million shortstop?
Yep. Don't worry, Edmundo Sosa's there. 20-7 in the month of May. 40 games won as we enter June. I tweeted this at the Mic Drop 5 if you don't follow. I went back to the year where the Phillies finished with the worst record in baseball. I just wanted to see how long it took for them to get to their. It was July 31st, 2 months from today.
Yeah.
That it took for them to win their 40th game.
Yeah.
We deserve this team. We deserve every bit of joy they bring to us, which is why I won't get angry ever. Like, I remember last year's negative Azzy.
I do.
I'm on top of the world. I'm on cloud 9. This team every night. Now, we'll start with the road trip. I want to preface this with, when we talked about it last episode, for some reason in my head, I was like 4-2, 5-1 probably, forgetting that these two places are complete hellholes for them.
They are. I'm going to be quite honest. I didn't realize how bad the Oracle Park record was.
4-20,
It's
4-19
so
now.
bad.
4-19 since 2018.
That's unreal.
Yeah, and to add insult to injury, they have won one series at Coors Field since 2014.
That's wild.
And it was last year.
Yeah, that's wild.
So, I with Coors, it could be a couple of different things, Regz. It could be the air could absolutely play a role in the way that they perform offensively. Like, that is very possible. It could be getting yourself amped to play a game in a stadium that's pretty much empty. Although they almost filled the stadium because of all the Phillies fans. that
Yeah.
went. So I don't know if that was it. And I don't know what it is about Orr. Like, that's a beautiful ballpark to play in. Usually Bryce plays really well there too. I just don't know if it was like going from the Coors situation to, I mean, that first night at Coors, the Phillies hit like 17 balls, 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, I
just
know.
right at people.
Just right at people.
It feels like the ball wasn't going anywhere. It just died for them.
Mm-hmm.
And look, they were 1 out away. They were a Chris Stallings home run away
Oh my!
from winning that series.
Is it Jacob Stalling?
Yeah, that's what it is, not Chris. It's Jacob Stallings, sorry.
Do you
But
want to
they
know?
were-
As soon as he stepped into the mound, into the plate, and they flashed that he was hitting like 300 something against the Phillies, I was like, oh, he's hitting a home run. And it took him 1 pitch.
Yeah. It was tough, man. Like, neither of those teams are good teams. Now, they were both hot going into the series.
Yes.
Both of them. They were both really playing good baseball. I think the Rockies had swept 2 consecutive series and one in between or before or after, but they were coming off 2 sweeps at some point, another series win.
Yep.
So they beat the Phillies in 2 games or in the series, but like I said, the Phillies were an out away from winning the series and didn't play good ball. And then they went to San Francisco, which is just not great for them. And, lost the first game in a game where they kind of battled back into it, but then ended up losing, and then lost the 1-0 in 10 innings, Wheeler start, and then, pretty much controlled the last game of the series. And look, 2-4, you don't want that to be any road trip. You always try and play 500. That's the goal is 500 ball.
Yeah.
So 2-4 wasn't ideal. However, they lost no ground.
Right.
They still have the best record in baseball.
Yeah.
And lost no ground to the Braves, who are struggling far more than the Phillies are right now.
Well, yeah.
I do want to take a moment here and just from 2 diehard Philly fans say that it truly sucks
Oh my God, it's such a bummer.
what happened to Ronald Acuna.
It's such a bummer.
And Kirk talked about it on the broadcast tonight about, yeah, we all cheer for the Phillies, but baseball's just simply better
Yeah.
when guys like Spencer Strider and Ronald Acuna.
And you know what's better? When we beat them with those guys.
Yeah,
Like, it's not.
Yeah. like we did the last 2 years.
Exactly. It's better when we can go
Yeah.
Strider.
Yeah,
Like,
for
it's
sure.
just better.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't call yourself a true baseball fan and enjoy when the best players get hurt.
Right. And look, I will credit Philadelphia fans because I haven't seen anything.
Oh no,
Online,
not a
you
thing.
know,
I think when
wanna-
you look at the smart people and you look at the real, like if you follow real baseball fans to a person, Phillies fan or not, this is a huge bummer.
Yeah,
A huge
it is.
bummer.
It is. You never want to see someone hurt, especially someone.
Especially a
talented as
generational talent like Ronald Acuna is.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, like Spencer Strider is.
Yeah. So, get well soon to Ronnie, and
Yeah, just, oh my gosh. The
To-
other
to
knee
Braves-
too, like just such a bummer.
yeah, to Braves fans, we feel
Yeah,
you.
it just sucks. It sucks.
It sucks. One thing I wanted to talk about as we wrap up the road trip here, 2 sort of points. The first being the whole scuffle with Bryce Harper the other day. A lot of criticism from other fan bases about the Phillies' response, his response.
Please.
I just want to say, if you follow baseball, you know that 2 consecutive seasons, Bryce has lost time to fastballs hitting him in the hand and in the face.
I was going to say he literally got hit in the face.
So his reaction, telling the guy to throw the ball over the plate, is very warranted.
Yeah. If he had been thrown at his legs, Bryce doesn't do anything.
No.
It has nothing to do with him throwing inside.
No. And then his other reaction, the second reaction, bench reacting. Well, I think from their perspective, it hit him in the head because the helmet flew off.
Or it hit him in the hand again, just like it did the last time.
So they immediately jumped out of the dugout.
Right. But again, they didn't jump out on the first pitch. This was two consecutive pitches.
Consecutive pitches.
At that point, as a baseball team, to your undisputed superstar, you're going to get up off the bench. You're going to walk out of the dugout.
Especially this team.
You're right.
Especially this team. All jokes aside, maybe the Mets don't do that if that's Pete Alonso. The way that they are right now, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
But this team, you bet your ass they're going to be out there.
Absolutely. And again, Bryce didn't move a muscle.
No.
After the second one.
No, he just looked like he almost just, I don't know the word that I'm looking for.
It was just like, come on, man.
But it was almost like just like exasperated.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding me?
Right. I think that's it. Are you kidding me?
And the other thing I wanted to talk about, and Regz, this is not a shot at all. You texted me about him not running it out, and I was like, look, we can't do that to Bryce, right? Like
it's a fair point.
He's pissed. Matt Gelb said it perfectly today on The Fanatic. He was like, if Bryce Harper misses a pitch that he feels is hittable, he's angry.
Yeah.
Because when Bryce feels like a pitch is hittable, he thinks he should hit it over the fence.
Right.
Any pitch that's hittable, Bryce Harper thinks he should hit over.
Yes.
So when he's already frustrated
and he's
about
been missing,
two pitches that almost hit
he's
him,
been missing some hittable pitches.
So he's already pissed off about two pitches not hitting him or almost hitting him. And then he gets a pitch right down the middle and hits a bullet right at the shortstop. Yeah, he didn't run the ball out. Look, we could go back and forth and say a run scores there, whatever. We could have that conversation all day. My personal opinion is the shortstop looked up, saw Bryce was dogging it, sort of made a relaxed throw, and it ended up sailing because he had a chance to think about it.
I'm on your side with this. I'm not.
Yeah. However, the get off my lawn boomers that are on Bryce Harper for not running out a ball, please do not get on him when he busts his ass and gets thrown out trying to stretch a single.
Yeah, right.
You cannot say both.
Just like you did tonight.
You can't say both. And you can, I will not disagree that sometimes he is boneheaded in his base running.
Yeah.
But that's all out of hustle.
Right.
And all of it drive to win. So questioning him running a ball out to first base on May 29th is silly. Don't compare him to Jimmy Rollins. Don't compare him to Chase Utley. I'd argue that Chase Utley's career was shortened because the dude ran every single ball out 150 miles an hour. And that dude's career ended because of knees. So maybe if he did take a playoff every once in a while, he would have played a little longer. I don't know that, but watching him play and never jogging to first base.
Yeah.
I can make a guess.
I think I'm totally with you.
I mean, Bryce is a terrible back. I don't want him sprinting every time down to first base.
I think that's the key. I think you're right. I think that's the key. I think look, do we love how Chase Utley played? Of course we do. Of course we do. Is there a chance that contributed to him not playing as long as he could have? Yes. Again, we don't know this for sure. We're not doctors.
Yeah,
We're not Chase Utley.
It's total speculation.
Complete speculation. But is there a chance? It's not 0%. And look, I don't think it has to be like that extreme. Like Chase Utley running every ball out, didn't chop years off his career. Maybe it chops weeks off of it. You know what I mean? Like it's not that extreme. Bryce Harper not running one ball out after getting thrown at twice and then like getting a pitch, like you said, to hit and missing it when he's already been kind of frustrated about how he's hitting is not the end of the world.
Right.
I think the fact that the throw pulled Flores off the base made it worse just because that contributes to like, oh, well, he could have gotten there. And again, as the person who sent this text, I get it. I'm with you people. I get it. I literally am the person that sent the text message. Am I able to look back and say, that was a silly text message? Sure I am. It's a lot of the text messages that I send to Azzy during baseball season. He's threatened to not look at my text messages anymore at some points during our friendship. This is how we work, people. It's just how it goes. I'm an emotional person, and sometimes I react accordingly. So to all those people, I get you. I feel you. I hear you. I am you. I get it. But listen, man, it's Bryce freaking Harper. I need Bryce Harper to play for the rest of this contract and more. So like, if doing this every once in a while makes him fulfill his contract to us and then some, please continue to do so, Mr. Harper.
Yeah. Anyway, just want to talk about that real quickly. We got a couple other things we got to get to here. Wrap. And one of those things is Edmundo Sosa.
Edmundo!
Which was my text message to you after the 440-foot home run.
That
he put
ball
on
was hit so far.
Unbelievably far.
You don't even believe that man could do it.
No, you don't. But he can.
He can, and he did.
Well, I'll say this. With a fastball, I know he can. I didn't know he could do it with a breaking ball.
Right.
So, Edmundo Sosa. I usually do this every episode now. The update on Edmundo Sosa's season. 314, 385 OBP, a 605 slugging. 605 slugging. That's a 990 OPS. 4 home runs in 30 games. Edmundo Sosa has a WAR of 1.3. This edges out both Bryce Harper and Shohei Ohtani. What are we doing?
We're just living in Edmundo's world, man.
I mean, Edmundo Sosa traded or acquired for Jojo Romero.
Yeah.
At the deadline in 2020.
The Red Bull chugging Jojo Romero.
And tonight comes up and just hits a piss missile against his former team.
And has literally, like, you could argue, been carrying the team.
Yeah.
While its superstars are not playing their best.
He's been their best player for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Easily.
Easily. I just think, and Matt Gelb had a great article about him in The Athletic a couple days ago about like his origin story and the kind of tragedy that he's suffered kind of in his personal life, and the very humble beginnings that he started with. And I think the biggest thing about that was the quote that the sort of anecdote he got that Edmundo on the Cardinals was getting frustrated with his play time and was like, well, I'm a guy who deserves to play all the time. Like, why isn't it happening? Why am I not getting the shot that everyone, that other people are? And for those who didn't read the article, the anecdote was that Albert Pujols, the literal best right-handed hitter any of us have maybe ever seen in our lifetime, and Hall of Famer, came up to him and said, that's like, you want to have a career in baseball? This is what you do. You prepare every day like you are that everyday player. You prepare every day the same. You have a routine, you stick to it, and it makes no difference if you're playing every day or not. This is what you do to help yourself, help your team, and this is how you have a career in this league. This is what you do. And Edmundo, obviously, given who Albert Pujols is, took that to heart, and that's how he is now. And I think coming to the Phillies really gave him like almost, like Brandon Marsh gave him this second chance, this second life as a baseball player. And he found this team that he knows believes in him. He knows, like, wants him to succeed. And this change in routine and attitude and preparedness has this is what it's turned him into. Again, we saw him get exposed a little bit last year playing every day. We did. We did. He stuck with it. He knew. I think there was another anecdote in there that when they signed Witt, Edmundo went quiet for a day, and then he went into Rob, and Rob was because Rob sensed he was off and something was weird. Yeah. And so he called Edmundo into his office, and Rob was Edmundo, what's going on? And Edmundo wouldn't say anything. And Rob had to tell him, dude, you're on the team.
You made the team.
You made the team, man. And he Edmundo lit up. He was oh my God, Yeah. And it's just one of those things where it's that's can be the mentality for these guys who don't play every day, who are bench guys. You might think everything's great, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. And
we're just seeing the Phillies' faith in him, his work ethic. We're seeing it kind of pay off. And it's awesome because he's by all accounts, one of the best teammates and has obviously put the work in to deserve this.
Plays with a ton of energy.
Yeah.
You can tell he brings it every day. And for me, those are the types of players I love.
Yeah.
I just love players who bring energy. And he does. And we talked about before the show, they're gonna have a hard time when Trey's back. Obviously, Trey's gonna play, but they're gonna have to find places for Edmundo to get at bats, especially if he's playing like this. So he's just been fun to watch all the way around. You know what else has been really fun to watch with this? The rotation. Just another episode where we talk about the rotation. Because what do we
that little thing?
I mean, and we could do the same thing with the bullpen. We could do both, right?
Yeah.
But after tonight, Aaron Nola, who went 6 1/3, 2 runs, 3 hits, couple of walks. 2 of the hits happened to be home runs, right?
Classic Aaron Nola.
2 of the hits were to a guy who didn't have any hits and 17 at bats, but neither here nor there.
Right.
Two runs in 6 1/3 lowered his ERA to 0.03. Regz is the 4th best on the team.
I love that.
Ranger Suarez, 1st in the NL, 1.75. Zach Wheeler, 6th in the NL, 2.32. Christopher freaking Sanchez, 11th in the NL, 2.83.
Making us Christophers proud.
14th in the NL, Aaron Nola at 3.03. They have 4 guys in the top 15.
Yeah.
That's pretty ridiculous. Consider that. Consider just having 2 of your pitchers in the top 10.
Yeah, right.
Most teams would kill for that. Now, look, just like there is going to be with the offense, there will be some regression to the mean at some point in the year. But these guys are in such a good spot right now that their ERAs they're going to linger in that 2 to 3, maybe a little bit above 3 area because of how good they've been through the first 2 months. Every time Chris Sanchez takes the ball now, he gets better.
Yeah.
He gets better somehow.
Yeah. I mean, you can't say enough about obviously the guys, but it's such a treat to know that we used to envy places like Tampa Bay and the Dodgers and these teams that would take these pitchers who were raw or were coming off a bad season. And you'd be like, oh, they took this guy. He's, the Rays got him. So this will be, this guy will be a stud next year. And the Phillies have turned into one of those teams.
That's a great point.
It's just, I think it's something that, again, I think it's talked about a decent amount, but I just don't think you can't talk about the success of this team without talking about that part of it. How much this pitching development staff and Caleb Cotham and the other pitching coaches have turned Philadelphia into like a premier pitching development organization.
Yeah.
And it's just it's remarkable considering what pitching staffs that we've seen on this team in the past decade. Like not just a few years, decade.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we've seen some brutal ones.
And it's just it continues to be unreal to watch. It's unreal to watch.
Yeah. I need to go back to the point you made, like about acquiring pitchers and turning them into something not just usable, but almost special. Like we mentioned Chris Sanchez, but like Jose Alvarado is an example.
Yep. A
Jeff
huge
Hoffman.
example. Alvarado's
Jeff
a
Hoffman.
huge example.
So's Jeff Hoffman.
Yeah.
Jeff Hoffman has completely turned his career around. That dude's going to get a huge
Even like,
huge
let's be
contract.
honest, Gregory Soto.
Yeah.
Matt
I forgot he
Strom.
existed.
Like,
oh, Matty Strom. Oh God, I love him so much.
that's what we're talking about. This has never been a thing for the Philadelphia
Well,
Phillies.
and even when you look down into the minors, Michael Machado, who they got in the offseason, the Ruiz kid,
Yeah.
all these guys, like Ruiz is talking, came to the Phillies and how it's so different from every other place he's ever been. And he's been fantastic.
Yep.
I think there was a tweet about the bullpen ERAs in May. I don't know if I saved it or not. It would have been a good thing to save, but it doesn't look like I bookmarked it unless I, liked it or something. I'll have to look and see.
And I just think the other thing is that players are seeing this too. Do you not think that players now want to come to the Phillies and work under this this coaching staff and be a part of this? Like it's a big deal. And when you're trying to build teams like the Phillies are trying to do with the guys that they have now, you need you're always going to need help in some area. It's baseball. Everything is never perfect. You're always going to need help. It's a huge deal to have players look at you and be like, oh, it's this versus that. Oh, the Phillies, I know, do this.
Yeah.
And again, we've given credit to Bryce Harper for this. Bryce Harper set this tone when he chose to come to Philadelphia. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. None of this stuff happens without Bryce Harper saying, I want to be in Philadelphia.
Right.
None of it. Not a single thing. Dave Dombrowski doesn't happen. Was Caleb even the pitching coach at that point? I don't think so. Was he?
I'd have to go back.
I'd have to go back and look. I'm going to say he wasn't. You can fact check me if you need to.
I'm just going to look it.
Yep, go for it. And I'll continue. If I'm wrong, that's fine. But, I'm going to go with it for now. But Dave Dombrowski wasn't here when Bryce signed. What do you think John Middleton did? He went on and got Dave Dombrowski. You know what I mean? These things don't happen without Bryce Harper saying, this is where I want to be, and this is what we're going to turn this franchise into.
Gotham came 2 years after Bryce.
So there you go. And and willing it to be so.
Yeah.
And it still takes me time to believe it's real. Because
it is, buddy.
We've lived through it all, man.
We have, and it is.
It's crazy.
One of these things is not like the other. There is a guy
yeah.
He's not very good at all.
He's not like the other.
Yeah, that would be Taijuan Walker. I don't want to get too far into it. Just they have to make a choice at some point.
I mean, I don't know what your choice is. Give me Spencer Turnbull.
Oh, it's 100% the same, but I don't think they're going to.
I think they will.
I don't.
What's stopping them at this point?
The money.
Who cares? You're paying them anyway.
They do. Yeah, but they're going to pay him $19 million to sit in the bullpen.
Sometimes you just got to eat it.
But they don't right now because there's no reason they have to. They win every other day.
I know. You hate to say that winning all these games might be like a bad thing, but like,
Yeah, like until it's really costing them, like, because they've still won a couple of his starts.
yeah,
despite how bad he's been.
Gelb said this on his podcast. Probably the best. He's like, Taijuan Walker's a regular season problem, and right now this team can live with it.
Yeah, because they have like 2 regular season problems.
Right.
One is him, so it's every 5th day, and the other is the guy who stands in right field. And he's starting to snap out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
He's starting to get going. So we'll see. They have 1 regular season problem, it seems like.
Yeah.
So nice. God, I remember when we had 26.
Yeah, I was about to say, so many problems.
and the beer was still overpriced.
It was. Too. That's right. They couldn't give us a break on anything.
So they started their 3-game series with the Cardinals tonight. They have 2 more, both nationally televised games.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night on Fox, Sunday night on ESPN. Will you be there?
I will be there on Sunday. Yes, I will.
I will be there with my lovely wife.
I will be there with my entire clan.
We might have to find you.
You please. I would love it.
We'll have to come say hi. And then I will be there on Monday when they welcome in the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to one of these
Hoskins.
games. I really wanted to go to one of these games.
Reese will be playing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I will be crying. But they have the Brewers on Monday, Tuesday.
Who are playing pretty well.
Game. They are. They're playing good ball. And a day game on Wednesday.
Yep.
Then the Phillies have 2 off days, which is going to feel very.
Yeah, it is going to be very. I hate it when they have the day off. I don't know what to do.
One day's tough.
I know.
2 days.
Like these Thursdays, I'm looking around and I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah. So they've got this 6 games and then they got the Mets over the weekend. So my
London.
In London, baby. My hope is 4-2 at the very least home here, and then beat the Mets twice.
Yeah.
I don't love having to play Boston and Baltimore coming back from London.
Yeah. Boston's cooled. Boston's cooled off a little bit.
Yeah.
Baltimore is still just like a freaking. I will be at that Friday night Baltimore game.
I'm still trying to figure out if I want to go to any of those.
Saturday's sold out completely, besides standing room. Because we were trying to get to Saturday also.
I'd be fine standing.
Yeah, no, it's a great stadium. You could find plenty of places to hang out. But yeah, we'll be there with 51 people from the Coles baseball team on Friday night.
Love it.
But
I might get standing room and just go hang out. Be fun to go.
Well, definitely let me know.
All right.
But yeah, Baltimore's tough, obviously. It stinks that he just lost 2 pitchers, both to Tommy John surgery. Huge bummer.
Crazy.
Huge bummer. I saw his name? I saw Means pitch when I went to that game. Yeah, when I was 5 rows up. Like I was there.
Yeah.
That was crazy how quickly that happened. But again, Baltimore's a tough team. They're a really good team. Yeah, that'll be probably the Phillies' biggest test so far of the entire season.
Yeah, aside from Atlanta, right?
Right.
That'll be it. And then they got San Diego, Arizona at home, Detroit on the road, short road trip, and then back home for Miami to end the month. So, again, is it going to be a 20-7 month? Probably not.
Right.
But there's some, winnable series on this docket. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
But I would like to start 4-2 here.
Yeah, I agree.
4-2 would be great.
Yeah.
All right, game update. This will be our last part of the evening. Update you on who won the month of May. And then we've got a redraft, sort of. We're going to add players to both teams. I was able to actually do a pretty good job keeping track. I was able to follow pretty much nightly.
I appreciate you keeping up with this.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's fun. I enjoy it. So here's how the month of May ended up. Regz, you edged me out by 2 innings.
Ooh.
2 innings. In the month of May for a win in innings pitched. I took the saves, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Hoffman had one more save.
Hoffman has
than
been
Miguel
pitching a
Rojas.
lot of ninth innings.
Yeah. We tied in wins.
Love it.
We tied in wins.
Not
So
gonna be
1-1-1.
Not going to be mad about that.
Through the first three categories. A tight one to start.
Mm-hmm.
You took me in ERA. You were just above 2, and I was just below 3.
Okay.
So you got me there. Whip, I won.
Okay.
We were both under 1, but you were like 0.97 and I was 0.87.
Nice.
So strikeouts, you got me
Okay.
by about 10.
Ooh.
Both in pitching and hitting, by the way, by about 10.
Impressive.
So you won both strikeouts. So we'll get to the offensive strikeouts. But as of this moment, you are 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 after pitching. Killed me in average. That was the furthest disparity. Rojas really destroyed me.
Yeah.
So you got me an average. I got you an RBI.
Yep.
By 3.
Ooh.
You got me in runs by 3.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So at this point, it is 5-4-1. I got you in stolen bases, 5-5-1.
Rojas has been running.
Yeah. And then you took over. Then you got me. Home runs, you destroyed me. And on base percentage, you got me pretty good too. So 7-5-1 was the final for the month of May. Regz and I now tied after 2 months. So we do I get a replacement player.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can offer a trade. I'm not going to offer a trade. I am going to take Rojas out.
Smart.
And I'm going to slide JT in.
All right.
So now my offense, before we draft another player, my offense is Bryce, Marshy,
Yep.
and JT. And I have Trey on the IL.
Yep.
Regz' offense, for those of you that are just joining, he's got Kyle, he's got Alec, and he's got Bryson.
Mm-hmm.
Our pitchers, he's got Wheels and Alvarado. I have Ranger. And I have
Our boy Jeffrey.
Hoff. So, because we've hit the month of June and we got to have some disparity here, we're going to add one more at each position.
Yep.
So we each get another relief pitcher, another starter, and another position player. Regz, I don't know how you want to do this in terms of order. Do I go second since I got a free pick?
That's what I was just
fair?
thinking. I think, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Okay.
So you get first pick of anybody on the board.
Okay.
You can have anybody on the board. Just know that you get one of each.
Okay. Give me Sanchez first.
A good pick. He was going to be my starter. So Chris Sanchez goes to Regz. All right. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this with my first pick, but I'm gonna. Matt Strom, come on down.
Nicely done. Nicely done.
We're not going to snake this time. We're just going to.
Yeah.
So you get next pick.
Yeah, give me Edmundo.
Shit.
Once you took Strom, I wasn't going reliever because that was going to be my reliever.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to do I could take whoever I want.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going to take Nola.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not going to take Taiwan.
No. No.
So you get a reliever now.
Yeah. Give me Kirkring.
Yeah, it's a good pick. So I will say this. The only thing about your Sosa pick is that when the time comes,
Yes, his playing time might
his
diminish.
playing time.
I agree,
diminished.
but if I can just ride the hot streak for a little bit longer, because
Yeah,
again, Trey
yeah.
had the setback, so they're definitely not rushing him back.
Well, they said that he might not be back until the Boston or Baltimore.
So that's what I mean. I feel like I got a little bit of time here to ride this
You at
Sosa
least
train.
you have
And
you
like
have at least 7 games.
Like, what were my other options? Casty? Like, yeah. All right.
Casty and Rojas.
Right. So, like, let me ride the Sosa train. And again, it's like you said, they're not playing Trey every day for 2 weeks after he comes back from this injury.
Yeah.
And Mundo's going to get his chance once or twice a week. So,
Well, that being said, I am going to take Casty.
I think that, yeah, again, that was my next pick.
And I think it's my only option.
I really, yeah, quite honestly, yes.
I had Rojas. I was like, you know what?
He was pitting okay when you picked him to give you some credit.
Yeah. And then he went into a 2 for 18.
Yeah, not great.
And simultaneously, JT went on a 17 game.
Yes.
So
after I dropped him, right? I had JT and I dropped him for Bohm.
yeah, and then Bohm got cold.
Yeah.
For like a minute, and
I
then
know.
he was fine again. So all right, so updated teams as we head into the month of June. A pivotal month, some would say.
Some would say.
But I feel like I'm already the odds-on under because you do have June Schwarber.
That's very true. I was not getting rid of that man.
I anticipate Kyle Schwarber hitting at least 2 home runs tomorrow to kick off the month the right way.
I can't wait.
All right, so updated teams. Pitchers. Regz has Zach Wheeler and Chris Sanchez. His starters, he has Jose Alvarado and Orion Kirkring as his relievers. As he has Ranger Suarez and Aaron Nola as his starters. Tonight's start does not count for Aaron Nola. It was May.
Right.
So the stats from tonight counted for tonight, which is why I took a couple of leads because Marshy had a good night.
Yes.
Relievers, Jeff Hoffman and Matt Strahm. I do think my
good relievers. It's good relievers.
Are very, very good. Our bats, you have Kyle Schwarber, Alec Boehm, Bryson Stott.
Stott's
and
killing
Mundo
me.
Sosa.
Stott's killing me right now.
Yeah, he definitely lowered your average.
Oh my God, he cooled off so badly.
I have Bryce Harper,
Yeah,
Brandon Marsh, JT Realmuto, and Nick Castellanos with Trey Turner on the IL. So when Trey returns, I'll have a decision to make.
I mean, it seems like a pretty easy one.
Marshy has not been very good.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
So it's really going to depend on between the two of them because there's no prayer I'm getting rid of Bryce Harper.
No, of course not.
No prayer. So it really comes down to the other thing.
Yes.
At that point. But I'll be interested to see how the rest of how June goes.
This will be an interesting one.
Now that we've added guys,
Yeah.
it does give some parity. It
does.
It was the first couple of months was getting to know the system a little bit.
We were feeling it out. Yeah, exactly.
And now that we get it, now you gotta unload a little bit.
We are nothing if not adaptable, my friend.
And that is what we are. Flexible and adaptable. All right, everybody. Look, I'm going to keep my fixated very short and sweet. I'm going to say what I said last time. Freaking enjoy this. We have not had this type of a baseball team ever. And you can say whatever you want about the 2011. They weren't this fun.
No.
They weren't. They were very business-like.
Yeah.
This is fun. This team is fun. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Don't wait too long and then look back and say, man, I really wish I would have enjoyed that regular season more. Because I'll tell you what, I'm over here enjoying the hell out of it. All of it. All of it. The second Edmundo does something. I send Regz a text with more N's and more O's than one should type.
My reply is just going to be Sosa from now on. I've determined that's going to be. Yep.
Yeah. So enjoy it, guys. That's the Phixated and will continue to be the Phixated for the long. All right, everyone. You'll get your Sixers dish as it comes. Not a whole lot right now. I got something on the out. Until next time. Go ahead and click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube in the box below. We're trying to get to 100. We're in the 70s right now, so keep it coming. Follow us on your social media platforms, wherever that may be. You can do it on Instagram at the BMD Pod, on Twitter at the Phixated Pod, at the Mic Drop 5, at Big Regz with a Z, on the Phixated fan page on Facebook. Make sure you go to wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, wherever, and subscribe, rate, follow.
I think we're getting about that time where we have a listener episode coming up. I think we're getting to that point.
We got
with how
it.
this
You know
Phillies team is playing and the Eagles getting close.
We also need a minor league report.
Yes,
I'll get on the horn with Brian.
Yeah,
see if we can get him on the show because there's a lot of good
there's
minor
some
league
stuff happening.
Yeah,
there's some stuff happening.
We're gonna get Brian on and talk to him since we're in the month of June.
Yeah.
Maybe because they have 2 days off, we can get
an
extra recording in next week, and then make sure you click the merchandise link in the show description. Otherwise, we will catch you next week for a recap on the St. Louis and Milwaukee season. Maybe a little Eagles talk, maybe not. We'll see. Our first update on the month of June with the game. And until then, bring me LeBron James. We'll catch you later. We love you guys.
I don't know how to follow that up, but yeah.
Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here.
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.